Hello everyone. In this video, I'm just going to show you how to get LinuxMint and install a Linux virtual machine on your own personal computer, which could be Windows or even Mac. So the software we're going to need for this video are a couple different softwares. One is a VirtualBox. So if you just Google VirtualBox, go to the download page, and then essentially based on the operating system that you have on your own machine, you can just click that one and then download and install VirtualBox. For me, I have a Mac machine, so basically I just clicked this link and then I got the version that I needed. Now the other thing is we need Linux Mint. So Linux Mint is actually one of Linux distro that is based on Ubuntu. So it is actually the version that we're gonna be downloading and installing. It's 19.3. By the time you watch this video, it might be a newer version. I don't think the installation is gonna be any different. Even within Linux Mint itself, you're gonna be mostly using the terminal for this course. So basically, not a lot of changes. So once you go down here, Linux Mint comes in what's so-called flavors. There are 3 different flavors, or actually kind of like desktop appearance. The one we're going to be using is actually the cinnamon. Basically, most of newer computers are 64-bit, so you're just actually going to be downloading the 64-bit. You're going to be using and clicking this link in order to get the cinnamon. So I already have both of these downloaded. So once you get the downloads, you actually would need to start VirtualBox. So from VirtualBox, you're going to see an interface that looks similar to this one. I know the Windows version is not very much different from the Mac version. I already have 2 virtual machines on my own VirtualBox. You will probably see none over here. So what you want to do is you would actually add a new virtual machine. So you click new and then you just give it a name. So let's say Linux Mint V2, because I already have one. And basically it's this is the machine folder where all your installation is just gonna go. I'm just gonna keep it the same. And then this is Linux and it's based on Ubuntu. So basically, I think we're good to go. You click continue. This just says how much RAM you want to give to your virtual machine. You can, give maybe something like 4 or 5 gigabytes. That should be enough, I think. And then you just click continue. Create a virtual hard disk now. So just create VDI, continue. Dynamically allocated. So basically, if you need more space for your virtual machine, it's just going to be allocated dynamically on your physical hard disk. And this is how much space on your hard disk you want to allocate for your virtual machine. I would just go maybe like 20, somewhere around 20 or maybe 15 should be fine, 15 gigabytes. So you actually click create. So now basically we already have configured the Linux Mint, but we have not really installed it. So basically from here, you just click start. And essentially what we're doing right now is we're trying to, well, actually, before you click start, just power off the machine. Let's just actually do the settings on this one. So essentially the idea of VirtualBox is it allows you to host multiple operating systems to run from your own original operating system, also called the host. So now essentially I want to run this operating system from my Mac operating system. So let's actually go to settings. And then from the settings, what I want you to do is click on storage. And essentially now we want, once I click start, we want VirtualBox to actually load the ISO file, the LinuxMint ISO file, which we just downloaded. So you click on empty here, and then you want, for this one, you want the virtual optical drive to be the ISO file. So you click this icon here, and then you choose or create virtual optical disk. So you just add, and then from your download here is actually this file. So you click this one, and then choose, and then you click OK. So now you can see back in the settings that when I go back to storage, it's just gonna load this ISO file that we just downloaded from LinuxMint website. Now if you click start, and if you see it really tiny, what you can do is if you click view and then scaled mode, it's just gonna actually make it a little bigger and easier for you to read. So notice LinuxMint is starting. It just takes a few seconds. And now you can see this is LinuxMint, and this is pretty much we're loading LinuxMint from our Mac operating system. In your case, it will be probably Windows or Mac. Now, one thing is we're actually starting LinuxMint from the live ISO we just downloaded. So what I want you guys to do now is we want to install LinuxMint. So you just double click this icon over here. And essentially this will allow us to create files, save them, and it's just gonna go to our physical hard disk. If you don't do that, essentially everything is just gonna go away after you turn off the machine. So basically what we're gonna do here is a bunch of continue or next clicks. Just a couple things I want to show you. So it, you don't have to, but I would just recommend install third-party software apps. So this is for graphics and other tools you're going to be using. Maybe not necessarily in this course, but for future courses. And choose erase disk and install LinuxMint. So install now. And then if you click continue, essentially it's just gonna actually in the background go ahead and do the installation. So while it's doing the installation, it's asking kind of like for some information from you. So your name, and then just giving it a name. If you want to give it a password, you don't have to, I think, but it's a good idea to just choose one. And then it's up to you to choose whether you want this password to be required for login or it's just gonna be not required. So continue, and then it's just actually gonna do the installation. I already have one installed, so I'm not gonna actually keep through this. For you, you're just gonna wait for maybe around 15 minutes or so until it's done, depending on the machine that you have. Once you are done, what you're gonna do is you're gonna just exit out of the virtual machine, and this is not gonna kind of like technically exit out of your host operating system, which is very likely to be your Windows, but it's just gonna actually exit the virtual machine, the LinuxMint virtual machine. So click on close, and again, this is something you do after the installation is done, and anytime actually you use the virtual machine. So click on power off the machine. That's necessarily what you need to do, and then it's just gonna actually exit out of the virtual machine. And hope that helps. And by the end, you should actually be able to start your virtual machine every time you start VirtualBox. So you do this, click start, your virtual machine will start. Thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.